The Retroid Pocket 4 Plus could be the most important product launch of 2024. So you've probably already watched a bunch of videos about the specs and all that about the Retroid Pocket 4 and the 4 Plus, and I will get into that in a different way now. But what I want to speak about is what Retroid did with the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus. Now, this device came into the market when specifically Anbernic were overpricing their devices. Think the RG552 devices that were quite expensive, that didn't come with like Bluetooth and stuff. So this device came into the market and really challenged other manufacturers to think about their pricing and their features. And every industry needs a company like this that is pushing the limits of quality versus costs and affordability. They definitely did that with this. It came out with beautiful designs, great controls at the time. Hall sensors weren't a big thing, so these weren't Hall sensors. I've now replaced them with Hall sensors. They didn't have analog triggers, but neither did anyone else. A very high quality device for the money that you're paying. And it came out with a very powerful, at the time, for retro gaming, a very powerful chipset, the T618 chipset. No devices could do what this device could do at the time, in terms of the price and all that. So there definitely were devices that could do what this can do, but in terms of the price and in terms of the industry, Retroid definitely challenged the markets. And the Retroid Pocket 4 and the 4, specifically the 4 Plus, is doing exactly the same thing. I've created a spreadsheet, which I will put in the description below. And I want to talk about, so I've got a spreadsheet out here, the Retroid Pocket 4 versus the AYN Odin Lite, which is an interesting comparison. And if you are shopping around, that is a bit of a closer thing. Like, whether you choose those two, we'll talk about it now. Then the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro, which comes in at $200, and then the Aya Neo Pocket Air, which comes in at $300. And let's quickly talk about the specs. I don't usually like to talk about specs, but I think it's important in terms of understanding the value proposition of these devices. So usually I err on the side of going for the cheapest thing because you're getting the most for your money. This is not quite so simple. So the Retroid Pocket 4 has the D900 chipset. The AYN Odin Lite, also D900 chipset, same 4 gigabytes of RAM. I think you can get higher spec ones, but for the same price, comparative price. The difference is you get a bigger screen with the AYN Odin Lite. And the thing with the so where they're challenging things again is this comes with the Retroid Pocket 4 and 4 Pro come with analog triggers and the new, what I call the full range of motion joysticks. And the competition don't have that. So that's quite a big deal. Now, the Retroid Pocket 4 is at $150. The AYN Odin Lite is at $200. But where this becomes a close comparison is the fact that even though there's a $50 difference, that is quite a lot of money, you're getting a 6-inch, a 5.98-inch display with the AYN Odin Lite. And then you're getting a 4.7-inch, the exact same. The rumor was back in the day that this is an old iPhone screen. So, you kind of know exactly what you're getting there. And versus the AYN Odin Lite, I don't have it in my, I was going to say restaurant. I don't have it in my restaurant. But 4.7 inches versus 5.98 inches, that's a huge difference. And if you are someone who enjoys a bigger screen, I got the PowerKitty X28 and immediately started using it more than this purely because of the bigger screen. It's an inferior device in almost every other way, but I really like the big screen. So you might enjoy that more, and the $50 difference between the Retroid Pocket 4 Plus and the AYN Odin Lite might be for you. And also in that $50 value, I would say I gave a design rating on my spreadsheets, and the AYN Odin Lite I gave 3.5. It's got RGB LED lights by the joystick, so you've got little lights around here. And even though I haven't had it in my hands, it's maybe not better than this, but it's definitely a nicer design. So go have a look. I'll put pictures on the screen now as well. But that's why I say Retroid Pocket 4, still great value, and compared to the AYN Odin Lite, it's a tight squeeze. If you are, pushed for money, the Retroid is for you. But if you want to spend the extra $50, you're definitely getting your bang for buck with the Lite. And I would err on the side of the AYN Odin Lite. And then finally, in terms of performance between those two, They're exactly the same, and in compared to the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, there's just an incremental push. So, for instance, I play a Metroid Prime on here, which is a GameCube game, but I have to do a lot of tweaking. You're going to be able to do that game with a bit less tweaking and probably a bit smoother gameplay. So that's kind of, you're just going to get that little edge on the gameplay. Whereas with the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro, here's where I think you're getting the value. So if you have the money, I would say spend the $50 and get the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. So compared to the AY and Odin Lite, for the exact same price, you're getting way more for your money in terms of performance. So the A1 Odin Lite has a D900 chipset. The Retroid Pocket 4 Pro has the D1100 chipset. So you're getting more performance and more RAM, 8 gigabytes of RAM. Again, the smaller screen. Again, I prefer the design on the A1 Odin Lite. That's arguable. You're getting the full range of motion joysticks on the new Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. Analog triggers, and it's the same price. So in terms of those two, unless you really, really want a big screen, it's a no-brainer. And then the next one up to compare it to is the Aya Neo Pocket Air. Now, Aya Neo are generally quite expensive. The Aya Neo Pocket Air was aimed directly at retro gamers. That's the D1200 chipset. The D1200, incrementally a little bit more performance than the D1100, obviously. For that, you get 6 gigabytes of RAM, where it's a Retroid Pocket 4, you get 8 gigabytes of RAM. Whether that makes a real world difference, I don't know. Again, you are getting a bigger screen with the Aya Neo Pocket Air. You're getting a 5.5-inch screen. I don't usually go through specs like this, but I do think it's important, and I do this when I feel it's important. The big thing that you're getting with the Aya Neo device is the bigger screen and a really, really cool design. I'll put some pictures and hopefully some video on the screen now, but it's just really smart. Like, they are a premium device manufacturer, and it shows. But again, you're getting the Switch style joysticks compared to the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro, where you've got those full range of motion joysticks. We're going to talk about why that's important now. Analog triggers, and it is $300. So the Aya Neo Air is a full $100 more, and I think that kind of pushes it over the edge, where to say, is the bigger screen really worth it to you? You can plug it into your TV every now and again, but I do feel, and I've said this over and over again over the past year, the compromise for pocketability on the Retroid Pocket devices, the Retroid Pocket 3 and now the 4, is worth it. It's just a very pocketable and travel-friendly device. So shipping-wise, all these manufacturers are kind of like up and down. So with Retroid, they often make the device on order. Like, I've placed an order and then wait a few weeks, follow up, and then it gets sent because they actually, they did a production run. So they do that, but now this is a pre-order and they will start rolling out in January, so you will get your device. There haven't been many issues in recent times. Whereas Aya Neo and AY and Odin, you never know if it's going to take long or if it's going to be quick. You just don't know. So I would say reach out to them and see, and then also the cost of the shipping. See how much it's going to cost you. Then a big thing with the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro and the 4 is that these full range of motion joysticks give you streaming capabilities. They have included those joysticks in the Retroid Pocket 2S, and they are exceptional. I started playing Half-Life on the Retroid Pocket 2S, and I couldn't play it with devices with these Switch-style joysticks. So it makes a real-world, if you've got a specific game that needs super good control with the joysticks, it's gonna make a difference in that. And then streaming, you can play high-end games, analog triggers, the full range of motion joysticks, and you're gonna be able to play a bunch of games via your streaming in your home network. And here's where the Pro version pulls ahead and just makes it worth it, is you're going to get, I think we're going to see, but you're going to get the full GameCube and PS2 library playing well. Some PS2 games you're going to be able to boost the resolution and all those sorts of things. So it's going to be really nice for that, and it's going to be a very nice device to use as a console, to pair your Bluetooth controllers and plug it into your TV. Because of the power, you're going to be able to play PS2, GameCube, all of that. It's going to be really nice. We're going to be able to do a bit of Wii. All of that is going to be now improved with the Pro, so you're going to get a lot more performance out of it. And then, I mentioned the Aya Neo Pocket Air. That is an exceptionally beautifully designed device, but if we compare it now to the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, They have improved. So everyone slammed them for putting the start and select buttons here. They're moving it here. They're adding some dedicated Android buttons here, I think it is. Might be swapped around, I'm not sure. This has a home button here, which it's fine, but you need more Android buttons. You need one for like menu or going into the task manager or whatever. So having 2 dedicated Android buttons, wherever they put them. So they are improving the design, but it's very much just perfecting something that already is pretty much perfect, but you're not getting that premium design of the Neo Pocket Air. That's kind of on another level. And then something to bear in mind with this, in terms of that sort of travel-friendly experience, they are providing now, I have experience now with these new cases that they've brought out. And this is, I'm actually wondering if they aren't getting Tomtok to make these, but these feel like they're made by a dedicated case company. So I don't know if they're licensing it to some fancy case building company, but these are really nice molded cases, and you're going to get one of these. Well, you're not going to get it, you have to pay for it, but for your Retroid Pocket 4 and your 4 Pro, you can get one of these, and it's really nice for travel. And I spoke about how the grip for the Retroid Pocket Flip wasn't very good. This grips onto the Retroid Pocket 2S really well, and if you go look on their website, they've instituted these new like little lips that they put on here to make it nice and secure on the device. So they've improved on their grips as well. So I would highly recommend doing that. Just going the full Monty, getting the grip and the case, and you're really going to have a lovely device that will last you now, because it's got so much power, for quite some time, in terms of, wanting the next big thing. And then the screen. Now, I'm pretty sure it's exactly the same screen. I love the screen. I think that, it's not an OLED screen, but it rivals OLED screens. So in terms of its quality and color and all that, it's pretty much perfect. It's just the size. I was playing that favorite game of mine, Metroid Prime, on here, and it's really small. And so that's why I started using the PowerKitty X28, because playing Metroid Prime on there was much nicer. So depending on what you want to play, a lot of people slam this device for having a 16:9 screen. For streaming, it's going to be wonderful. We can't really use PSP as an excuse anymore, because this is now a PS2 and Gamecube machine. So, 16:9 is not really where it's at in terms of this device. And so a bigger screen would be nice. So if you are in the market for the Retroid Pocket 4, I would lean towards the AY and Odin Lite. So this is why the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro, specifically the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro, is important for 2024, because you are getting a device that performs almost as well as a device that's $100 more, the Iron Neo Pocket Air. And so you're getting a lot of bang for your buck with the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro. The only real reason I would consider the competition is for a bigger screen.